And a good midday Friday to you. Roger Hill of Weathering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. It represents 802 Toyota, Twin City, Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at a big picture here, we have a storm system with a very strong, you can see this frontal boundary is all the way to the west of Europe, and this area of low pressure that cruised on through the southeast United States, brought some snow in some parts of the Carolinas. That's moving out and a thing of the past. In the meantime, we have more or less kind of a zonal flow setting up, and a lot of modified Arctic air. This modified Arctic air has been pushing into the lower 48 United States over the last really 3 or 4 days now, and it's bringing us colder temperatures here in the northeast United States, especially across adjacent Canada. But that's going to modify fairly rapidly, as the overall picture here is one that's going to be moderating to warmer conditions. It's not moderating with a southerly flow so much, but more of a zonal flow from west to east, and indeed that is going to set the stage for warmer temperatures ahead. And what we could see is maybe even some sap runs for sugar makers, a little bit on the early side. This looks like it's going to be setting up once we get into Sunday and then lasting into the middle of next week. Our next big weather maker is really not going to arrive until sometime along about Tuesday or Wednesday. It comes in different segments and pieces, and we'll cover that here a little bit after. Okay, so here's the big story. We have a big broad area of higher pressure. In fact, if you look at it, it really extends back even into the eastern Pacific off of Mexico. And some pretty strong ridging, 1041 hectopascal, 1049 here, 1032 here. These three centers are going to work for us and bringing us some pretty excellent conditions. This is going to be lasting a while as well with a very nice stretch. Let's run the computer modeling and kind of see for yourself. So this is 3-hour increments, the European model, and we're going to take you through Saturday. You notice that any kind of precipitation issues are basically staying out of our hair. This little shortwave kind of Alberta Clipper system is going to be pushing pretty much due west to east. And by the time we get into Monday, this is about midday Monday or so, about 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Looking at this system here, one system pushing off to the east of us. This will probably drag a slight cold front and cool us off just a little bit. But this is where things get a little bit more interesting over time. And what we're going to do here is and then carry this over basically into Tuesday. You can see a little bit of mixed precipitation types, just shooting out very, very light stuff. So we get a little bit of spotty rain, maybe some freezing rain, maybe some wet snowflakes. And then second surge comes in. Again, this is now about Wednesday, to 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So Tuesday night into Wednesday. This looks like all snow. Doesn't look like very much. And then it basically changes over to rain as this system begins the third kind of piece of jet stream energy kind of wraps in here, and it develops a surface low. The surface low is going to shoot north and then basically cut across into Canada. And with this kind of a weather pattern here, we'll probably have some gradient wind issues on the front end of that system and maybe on the backside as well, as we have cold air advection on the backside with the departing area of low pressure. This is way, way, way around the corner. We're talking Thursday evening, about 7 o'clock in the evening. And then as we get into Friday, the system pulls away. So this will be a player with colder temperatures swinging in. You can see some of the blues here, the thickness heights showing where the colder air is. Rain versus snow, for example, getting all the way down, it looks like, into southern parts of Georgia and the southeast United States. And we'll continue to see this maritime low last a while, probably going into the following weekend. Now we're going to run the precipitable water. You kind of get the picture here as to what sets up. Notice it's very, very dry. One system shooting that's that Clipper system, a little bit of moisture from the Pacific, a little higher P watts here in the reds. The blue is very dry conditions, and you can see the scale down here. So as we continue to run the model, you can see this is that system working in, and then kind of comes in different pieces, as I mentioned. And then the bigger piece here as things develop and then push on through. Okay, we're looking at the 3-hourly QPF. This is of the GFS ensemble. It's mixed in with some Canadian model data as well. And you can see, I would ignore all of this here. This is not going to be taking place. But what will be taking place is, when we get into this period here, we're looking at, again, a longer stretch of unsettled conditions with some precipitation issues, as I just showed you with the European. And total QPF, it looks like this, so kind of a slow rise. Now this blue line here is basically associated with this morning's model run, 06Z, so kind of in that sort of same ballpark plume here. But this is way around the corner. We got a very nice stretch of weather ahead. Weather Prediction Center showing about 1 inch amounts of total precipitation here. This would be the ½ inch and so forth. It looks like the big deal, though, is going to be off the southeast coast. Nothing really to see here. Let's check temperature-wise. And model agreement has been very, very good. This is the 2-meter temperature availability. Weighted temperatures, we're going to be headed for above normal temperatures, and this is running about 6 to 9 degrees above normal. And then looking at about 3 days later, the Weather Prediction Center weighted temperature forecast. These are highs of the day, of course. Be running still about 3 to 6 degrees above normal and neutral. And you notice a large section of the country has cooled off behind this, and we saw a little bit of that. How does that look with the looking at the climate reanalyzer? You can see that that zonal flow, some Pacific air, has made it all the way across the Rockies, the British Columbia region, Canadian Rockies, and then now it's just about made it into Quebec. And it's going to sweep out this colder air, and indeed we're going to warm up from sort of the north and west, and that's going to be the case here. And here's a look at the WCX webcam, a live shot looking across Lake Champlain at the northern Adirondack Mountains. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, thanks for watching.